Going to the finals. Let's find out if Sue can tie it up on merry-go-round.
Down here in the south, in the teal for KT Roaster, the Protoss player.
KT Roaster, Zest.
If it isn't need of repair, you probably shouldn't worry about it. Something like that.
Yeah, something similar to that. I don't know. Heard it once or twice.
His opponent to the right side,
SK Telecom T1 Sue,
wants to get his third GSL finals, and he's hoping to win it this time. But to do that, he has to win 2 games in a row in this best of 5. Best of 5, a series that, for me, as a caster, I end up doing the least. Usually best of 3s or best of 7s. You could say, yeah, a best of 5 in Pro League, but that's not really a best of 5 for individual leagues. Very different.
Yeah. Now the Overlord of Sue is going to scout in the correct direction, so he's going to be happy about that. Push down that hatch first. He's going to find that there's no pylon, no forge this time.
Oh, if it isn't broken, don't fix it. But on this map, if it isn't a good map for forge and cannoning, don't cannon it.
Don't do it.
Don't do it.
Don't do that, Zest.
Don't do that. Yeah, he's just
listen to us.
He's taking that approach. Double hatch before pool, and this is a big risk considering all the cannoning that we've seen.
Yeah,
but he's like taking the same mindset as, oh, merry-go-round, there's no way you'll cannon me, right? Maybe that's why he picked it as the map.
Yeah, he's like, Zest, I don't want to deal with your shenanigans anymore. I'm just gonna pick merry-go-round, go for a double expand. Sue's been very, like, I don't know how to describe it. It's like defiant. Like, you can even see it in his eyes. He's like, no, I'm not going to play macro games. I'm going to double early pool against San and just go with that. And then I'm just going to go for a bunch of rushes and not play a real, long game here. Seems like he's, trying to switch up his play style a little bit. I love how the circle of that Nexus goes around the circle on the ground.
Yeah. Map makers started doing that a lot in Korea. I think it adds a little bit of, I don't know. It makes it look like a battleground that we're on here, and not just a map that's coincidentally these 2 players are battling on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sometimes I look at the map and I'm like, okay, this is supposed to look like it's a coincidence that all of these minerals are balanced out in a certain way on this map, and they're also in these little containers. Like we're all supposed to just believe that this is all a big coincidence that a hatchery spawned and a Protoss structure spawned, and then they're going to battle it out on this extremely balanced map with all the patches this way, and the guys just happen to be equidistant from the Nexus. Not very believable, but if you're a map maker, you can make it look like this is a battleground that we're having here, and I like that.
Yeah, I think it's pretty cool. But look at this. Zest, he wants to do battle on this battleground. He's going to put down the 3 gateways once again.
And this is a great choice on this map. We've seen it over and over and over again. If there's ever a map where you can put a pylon on the high ground that's close to your opponent's base and warp in from there, it's really, really tough for the Zerg to contest that. Because you can also then protect the pylon while it's on the edge of that high ground, meaning the Zerglings can't get a lot of surface area, as you can see here. Well, can he actually burst it down? It looks like it. Warp gates aren't done yet.
Yep, not quite done. The gateway's going to be finished just now. But still. Oh, if he doesn't scout this pylon, that will be huge, and he misses it. Very unfortunate for Sue.
Now we can remake the pylon actually on the edge there again if he wants to be able to warp onto the low ground. We'll see if he gets his force seal down properly. He does even warp in 1 Zealot at home just to be safe. And actually goes Stalkers here.
And he's only up against these Zerglings, but they are not going to have speed. That's one thing he knows because the gas is very late. Going for this double hatchery build here, he's not going to have the speed for a long time.
Yeah, and there goes that pylon on that lip. The Stalkers and Zerglings with the same speed off creep. And we'll be able to do some kiting here. He's already forced a ton of Zerglings to be made, so that his larva count is not that great either. All right, he needs to make sure he doesn't get surrounded, though. He's going to have to stay on this high ground. 1 Stalker gets trapped. The Queens and the Zerglings going to make quick work of that. Time Warp here makes it a little bit more difficult to retreat, but honestly, I think that Time Warp might have been a bit questionable.
Yeah, it's a bit early as well. I mean, it's right next to the creep as well. He's able to just get back to the creep and just run away. Speed is started for Sue now. just continuously making Zerglings.
Well, I mean, he's chrono boosting the gates. It looks like he wants to commit a little bit further to this. He's not making any more probes either.
I feel like this isn't a bad idea. I mean, the economy of Su is so down. He's made so many of these Zerglings, and he doesn't really have to make probes himself. He's going to have the chronos for that later, but here we go. Mothership Core goes down. All the Zealots are surrounded in front, but you know, a lot of these Zerglings going down, but with the follow-up Zerglings, look like they will kill the rest of those Zealots.
You know, oftentimes a Zealot, you know, Zealots are being attacked by Zerglings. It's just that feeling of like, okay, you're fighting your Lings against my Zealots, that's fine. And so the Pros player is there, but in overwhelming numbers, you will eventually kill those Zealots. And the transition point for Su here is actually so much easier than it is for Zest. That's just how this matchup works. And Metabolic Boost is getting closer and closer to finishing. I'm not really sure if he's going to be able to finish him off here.
No, I don't think
he's
so
not either. He's walking back. He starts Robo and 2 gases at home, but that really is a tough transition to make against a Zerg player who now has total map control, could take a 4th base, can add a lair. He's got a lot of opportunities. Doesn't have a Mothership Core either. Have to remake that. That's expensive.
Yeah.
Good targeting on that earlier by Su.
For now, Zest is ahead in Harvesters, but Su is going to explode. He has that 3-base larva production right now with all the queens and the constant injects. You know, not in the main base, though, so he's going to be lost on that, but he does have 10 larvae at his disposal, so he's going to be okay for now. A bunch of these Zerglings that were forced, you know, just kind of awkwardly sitting there. You know, he does have the map control, but there's still wasted, you know, supply that could have been in drones earlier if the attack didn't come.
It's just going to go into an Immortal timing here again. I mean, this is like...
This is just aggression every single map at a Zest.
It almost feels like he's not confident to play against Su in the late game, which he showed that he could do, you know, in the finals. But it almost cost him, right? I mean, it was a very close series. Actually, my current favorite GSL finals. It's actually, I like it more than even the old Marine King versus NST finals. That's always been dear to my heart. Best finals I've ever seen. And I don't know if this is going to work against this many Lings. And I feel like it might work against any other Zerg who looked at this and said, oh, wow, I barely have any drones. I'm only at 50 now. I barely was able to squeak those out. And now I'm just going to drone up like crazy, and then the attack comes and he gets killed. He's consistently scouting every time this happens. And he's already dealt with this multiple times. He's already seen this. And I think he is very well versed now on how to defend it. It's not going to be easy to defend, but he has the tools to do it. Let's see if he can actually make it happen.
Well, he's going to go for the counter attack. I love this, actually. He's going to come over here. Oh, actually going to just come from behind.
Yeah, he's going to try to get a flank here. He's going to come in from 3 sides. Spine Crawlers here are just to buy time, a little bit more time. Good force fields here. He catches only some units, but oh, not good enough on those force fields. Here come the Lings, and Roaches on the left side are closing the distance.
Yeah, and a lot of those sentries taking a lot of damage from the Zerglings, and now a lot of good force fields going to cut off a bunch of Roaches there on the left. Mothership Core still stays alive, and he has a ton more of these gateways to warp in more and more, but you know, he did take a ton of losses there.
Could actually drop a time warp now since he saved that Mothership Core. It's regenerating its energy pretty quickly. But this is a defeated Zest that we're watching walk around over here. He even puts the Warp Prism to go into the main base because he's like, this push is basically over. I can't actually force my way into this with my Immortals anymore. So I'm going to take an alternate path and go into the main base here. And actually target down a lot of drones at this point.
You know, this is going to be hard for Su to deal with. He's actually going to lose a queen here if he does a micro.
Yeah, if he's not super careful, he's actually just going to go to the Hydralisk Den. I don't know about that. I think he could have gotten that queen, and I don't think he's going to get the Hydralisk Den. Makes it bleed. Another nice little Contaminate going down here. Slowing down the robotics production. Looks like he wants to follow this up with another timing.
He just doesn't stop, man. He's
like, okay, I forced a bunch of Roaches, and I made more Mortals, and I'm going to attack you again. If he had killed the Hydralisk Den, and the thing is, from a strategic perspective, yes, killing the Hydralisk Den is a great choice, but he just didn't have the damage to do it. But had he killed it, But then again, just pure Ling Roach against this new Immortal timing. Time Warp goes down here. That Observer is a ways away. And Force Fields here are decent, but the Hydras are now getting their damage in, and some of the Roaches on the other side of the Force Field are still able to fire. He's forced to pull drones here. Does he have enough? That one Immortal is so low, but he's not targeting it. It's actually doing so much extra damage, and now it gets picked up in the Warp Prism multiple times. But it looks like it's just not enough.
Yeah, it's just way too much Zerg here. He's had too much time to build up, and there's the GG.
GG, Sue, bringing us to a game 5. And I gotta say, that thing that wasn't, shattered or in pieces or separated earlier, it may be time to fix it, because this has been the way of his play every game, either a cannoning or a 4-gate into a follow-up Immortal push.
Yeah, and the only 2 games that Zest won were the games that he punished after cannoning. And this time, he didn't have that cannon part in his build, and he tried to just be aggressive like that. But I feel like in that just kind of straight-up aggression, Sue was just too good at defending it.
Yeah. I mean, he knew it was coming. Verified with the Overseer. Makes those spines to defend, to buy time. This is a normal third base for him, not some weird satellite base that's over on the side. It's a base that he's got his creep connected to. He's got those reinforcements coming, and he's able to just overwhelm. He has all those Lings to come in. The Lings getting through that one force field was so key, because without that, the sentries might have been able to survive a little bit longer, get a few more key force fields down, and then maybe Zest able to get through, because even though that was held by Sue, it was still razor thin. I mean, Zest was on the cusp of winning the game at all times there.
Yep, that's the part with the Protoss, where if you miss one force field by 1 pixel, sometimes it can lose you the game.
Yeah.
Now, that may have not been the one thing that made Zest lose the game, but it definitely contributed.
Oh, absolutely. So I think Zest needs to really consider where he's at in this situation now, in this best of 5, because I think maybe the way he's playing this makes me feel like he's prepared for the series, like he was going to just walk in, take a 3-0, and then move on to the finals. Like, I don't really need to have that many builds, that many ideas planned here. And he's like, just was hoping that was how this series was going to go. And now he's battled his way through, and now it's a 2-2. King Sejong Station is the map for game number 5.
And you know what? That's a 2-player map. It's go for cannons.
It's the map we've also seen probably the most in Pro League timing attacks for PvZ. We see so many Blink Stalker +2 attacks, so it's got to be tempting right now for Zest.
And we've seen so many games where if it goes late for the Zerg, he is able to get that 5th base and a ton of Swarm Hosts and just do so well on this map. So I feel like Zest picking this map, he's like, I'm just going to do another early timing.
Could happen, man. It all comes down to this. This is the rematch of the GSL Season 1 Finals for 2014. But this time, only one of these players will be in this tournament's finals. It all comes down to this final set on King Sejong Station.